I like the air in my bike tires the same way I do the fert on my lawn. Guesstimated.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Now, before we go take a ride out to my neighborhood and look at the lawns and the things that I'm seeing here as we move through November, I just want to let you know that this video is actually a continuation of the video I put out a couple days ago entitled Step 1. This is all about Florida winter lawn care, step by step, what to put down, when to put it down. If you click the link in the description below, you can actually download my free guide. It's a PDF, it's immediate download. It'll give you everything that I'm doing here. I'm just basically working through that guide. I'm working through it here in my lawn this winter. Additionally, there's another link there. If you want to get on my weekly email list, I'm actually sending out all through winter an email every single week just for Florida lawns. And so you can get on that list, and that'll be even more up-to-date things as we get questions or people have challenges or things we're seeing in the lawns all throughout Florida, all throughout the winter. I'll be sharing those in that newsletter every week. So click the link below to also sign up for that. So we're on page 18 of that guide, and you'll see that we put down pre-emergent last week. Now, another thing we're going to do is we're going to fertilize. And I'm going to remind you of this little map that I made here about whether you live above or below the frost line. Now, most of you are still not dormant yet, so you're going to be fertilizing. But as the season progresses, once your lawn goes dormant, you're going to cut off the high nitrogen fertilizer. You'll stick with everything else in the program, which we'll continue to talk about, but you won't be fertilizing anymore until your lawn starts growing again. Remember, the key is in Florida, no matter where you live during the winter, if you're mowing, then you can still be throwing. And typically that means you're still mowing your lawn at least every 12 to 14 days, then you can still be fertilizing. If you're not, go ahead and stop with the nitrogen fertilizers. All right, now before we go getting too crazy and throwing down, let me explain to you why I recommend you keep fertilizing. And the reason that is because of defense. We were playing defense in the last video with our pre-emergent application that's going to stop weeds from germinating in the lawn, but really the most important part of the defense is your actual lawn itself. A lot of you guys have heard over the years, what's the best defense against weeds? Well, the best defense against weeds is a thick, vigorous turf stand. And I can tell you that is never more true than it comes to warm season turf. St. Augustine, Bermuda, Zoysia, even Bahia grass and centipede. Those are strong alpha grasses, and them and of themselves, because of the nature of their growth, stolons, rhizomes, knitting together strong, they can keep out a lot of weeds. However, they're vulnerable in the winter because they're slowing down. So that natural defense is slowing down. It's not as strong, it's not as vigorous because of a couple things. Number one, we've talked about the cooler weather slows it down. Number two, the shorter days, not as much sunlight. You realize that plants make their own food in the form of sugars potentially or mostly by sunshine shining down, photosynthesis taking place, carbohydrates are sent down through the plant. That's the whole thing, right? That's how plants make their own food essentially. Well, when the days are shorter, there's less opportunity for them to do that, so they're going to lag and they're going to slow down. And here's where the next piece comes in, and that's you and me. For some reason, folks don't fertilize their lawns in Florida as much as they should, or if at all. If it's because maybe a lot of you guys have moved down here and you're just used to everything being shut off in the winter, so your strategy in your mind doesn't change, or whatever it is. I just see this all the time. People just give up in the winter and they let their lawns go. And when you live in that frost line or below, that is a really big problem, because guess what's going to happen? Your lawn is going to reseed, but because you're below that frost line, because it stays warm, because things are still growing and moving, and even up and above that frost line, the weeds will take advantage. So as your natural defense recedes and even thins out because you haven't fed it enough, the weeds will rush in. Let me go show you a couple examples. So I was going to do a big dramatic montage, but I figured I'll just logic with you this way. Check out this lawn right here. Does it look like weeds would easily invade that? How about this one? Or this one? Those are all vigorous lawns, and you can see it'd be tough for weeds to invade. Now this one is Zoysia, and aside from some brown spots, which it tends to have because he just cut it, there's not one weed in there because the Zoysia chokes it out because it's so thick. This is my lawn, and you see those brown spots? Those are where I actually had to kill a few weeds that actually did invade. And you know what this spot is right here? Do you remember last year in the fall when I had some areas that died from grubs and I had to resod? Yeah, it was right there. And here is the result, weeds a year later. So as an example, here is a lawn that's been neglected. Now for how long, I don't know, but you'll see that it's not vigorous and therefore weeds have moved into the thin spots. And here's one that's been neglected for even longer and it's full of weeds and there's very little St. Augustine, and what is there is definitely not vigorous and growing. So the key with fertilizing is that it keeps the lawn vigorous and growing, and it's your job to keep the lawn vigorous and growing as long as weather permits. So to have a good defense, you gotta feed your defense because you gotta keep it vigorous and thick. And so I like to give you guys a store-bought option every once in a while, and of course you know I love my old buddy Milo. 32 pounds. The analysis is 640. 6% is nitrogen, and that's what we care about. And you can see here, covers up to 2,500 square feet.
And it just so happens that my Zoysia here is 2,500 square feet. So essentially I can just dump this in there and go. But I wanted to give you a little bit more understanding. So if I take that 32-pound bag and I divide that by the area that this covers, 2,500 square feet, and denoted by 2.5, that means my pounds on the ground is 12.8. So 12.8 pounds of this product goes across every 1,000 square foot of lawn area. And so if you want to know how much nitrogen that's going to give you, you just take that 12.8 pounds and you multiply it by the 6%, because 6% of that will be nitrogen. So times 0.06, and we get 0.76. So that's where we come up with that 3/4 pounds of nitrogen bag rate for Milorganite.
One thing I'll tell you though, it smells like success. Now look at how bad my Zoysia suffered over the summer. It was drenched, wet feet for weeks on end. I've got a lot of drainage to put in here sometime in January or February. Until then though, I'm going to work on keeping it strong and strengthening what's here, so when I do have to tear it up, I'll have hopefully minimal repairs. Now I'll talk more about the Zoysia as we come up. I got a whole bunch more stuff I got to do over there, but as we move forward, you'll see on this part of my lawn, I actually used Flagship, but again, I put down the 3/4 pound of nitrogen as is in my program. So if you follow along with me here over the next few weeks, we're going to be doing more. We're going to bring biostimulants in here. We're going to start spraying weeds, lots of different things to do. Also, real quick, since we're talking about Milo, I've got the meme stickers ready to go. This is a 5-pack, also comes with a Milorganite sticker, and these are $5 for 5. 100% of that $5 we're going to donate to Rodney's Raising Men and Women Lawn Care Service. I'll link Rodney below. You've seen him before. He does a lot of really good in all communities all around the country, inspiring young entrepreneurs, inspiring to help out in their communities. And so what will happen is we got a bunch of these for sale, and so every pack you buy for $5, again, we're donating 100% of that $5 to Rodney's charity, and that was something we've been doing with Milorganite for a while. So click the link in the description below if you want to support that. We really appreciate it. So there you go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. By the way, we got the 2.4 hours of La Mullets coming up this Friday. I will be there and in the stands, so look forward to seeing and hanging out with some of you guys and having a little fun watching the race and hoping my grass doesn't get too torn up. So hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the lawn.
Cadê o psicólogo? Cadê o antropólogo? Cadê o homem da pesquisa com a estatística pra explicar essa carência mística? A mãe não te deu colo.